Good morning. I realized I didn't do much talking yesterday, so it's literally just a montage of footage. So yesterday I started with the Rockefeller Center, which is really cool to me. I'm someone that grew up, I was on stage and did performances and stuff as a child, and I've always loved the comedy realm. So when I was growing up, wanting to be on SNL was a huge thing for me. So to be in that building and to see even just the people in their little NBC suits and everything was just neat. So that's where the Christmas tree is. So they have it donated. I can't remember how tall it is, but it's absolutely insane. The star at the top is Swarovski crystals or something like that, and it has an impressive amount of lights on it, and it was just absolutely gorgeous. I saw it during the day too, just to try to avoid the crowds, and that was so worth it. I was able to go right up to it and take a moment and let it soak in and enjoy that. So definitely go in the morning. I'm sure it'd be worth it to see it at night too, but I think the crowds are just gonna be insane. I was in Times Square last night and it is just absolutely unreal, the difference between day and night, how busy it gets, especially around this time of year, I guess. So I did that. The ice skating rink is there. I can't skate for shit. Oh my god, I have footage of somebody falling. I did it by accident too. I was just recording the beautiful scene, and then the first thing is somebody falls smack on their ass. So yeah, sorry to that person that I have that footage. At least I don't know who you are. And so I saw that, and then went into the actual Rockefeller Center to do the Top of the Rock Observatory. So that was actually pretty neat. You go up and there's 3 different tiers or levels to it, so you can kind of explore each one and go around in a loop and do that 3 times. So that was neat. There's something, I can't remember what it's called, it was a piece of metal that you sit on, essentially, that the workers used to build the building back in the day. That famous picture, I'll put it up on the screen, but that famous picture of them all sitting on whatever that metal thing is called. They have one there now where you can go on and it puts you up in the air and it swings around and stuff like that. So I've actually seen the drag queens do it. I'll share that too. But that's how I first found out about it. Honestly, they were up there, they paid $15 or something like that for it, and they were up there for a minute, so I was like, that's not really worth it, so I just filmed somebody else doing it, because I thought that was cool. And then they also have this other one that goes up in the air, and it kind of spins around, and it's this circular platform, whatever that is. I'll leave that info for you guys too. I'm just going off of what I saw. But yeah, so that was an interesting experience, that whole building. And then there's a whole shopping level, they call it Under the Rockefeller or something like that, and it's all these different shops. It's almost like a little market that's down there. So I really got to explore that, but I have a tour later this week or maybe early next week. But we're actually going to go to the sound stage of Saturday Night Live, and I think Stephen Colbert and we're going to go where the Rockettes are at Radio City and just kind of see all these behind the scenes of these places, which is, to me, is just absolutely fascinating. I love that kind of shit. So I'm very excited for that. And then after that experience, I went to St. Patrick's Cathedral, which is a church. It is gorgeous. Even if you're not a religious person, I'm more spiritual than I would be religious, but just to go and appreciate the architecture and how long it's been up there, the history of it, it was really incredible. I spent maybe 20 minutes in there, and you can light candles, and so I went in and I was able to kind of make a prayer, or maybe a wish for the new year, I guess is how I would put it. And so that was interesting. But the one thing I will say is, you would think they'd be playing Christmas music or something like that, and they have a big organ and everything like that. You guys will hear it in the footage. It was literally somebody pounding on one key at a time on the keyboard. I just... I'm not religious. I don't have a background in that. Like, I don't know if there was like a meaning to it, or there's a reason why they were doing it, or if they were tuning the fucking organ. Like, I have no idea, but it was infuriating. Like, I'm someone that gets overstimulated, and I knew coming to New York, like, there's going to be a lot of people and a lot of noises, and like, I have to, you know, adjust my expectations and stuff. But that sent me over the fucking edge. Like, by the time I was ready to leave, I was like infuriated by the experience I had, and you'll hear it in the footage. Like, it went on like that, and it kept going higher and higher and higher. It's just absolutely unreal that they were doing that. So anyways, just be wary of that, I guess. I never thought I would have to tell you to be careful of the organ. And it was so loud, like the echo, like the way it was built is kind of like this dome or whatever, right? So like it's perfect for like acoustics and everything. So like it just carried through, and it was so loud, and there was no escaping it, and there was no break. So I just, something to be wary of for sure. The holy shit, that was a lot. And so I left there, and then the Rockettes, I was going to go see them, but I was starving at this point. So I went to Liberty Street Bagels, which is absolutely delicious. It had a huge lineup, so I was like, either this is like a really popular TikTok spot that's not that great, or it's like worth the wait, and it was definitely worth the wait. It was so delicious. I literally have no footage of my actual bagel, but I'll put a picture up on the screen of the one I got. Just because I got my bagel and then I basically had to run to Radio City to make sure I was there on time for the Rockette show, which was incredible. That show was, like, that theater, first of all, is absolutely gorgeous. I don't think there's a bad seat in the house. The most expensive seats are down on the floor, but the floor is not elevated by any means, so you're literally, like, if you're in row 7 or whatever, you have, like, 7 rows of people in front of you that you have to try to, like, peer over, which I thought was odd. I went for the cheapest seats because that's how we do things, and I was in the 3rd mezzanine, which you would think like, oh god, you're so far back. I had a wonderful unobstructed view. The only thing I would like bitch about that experience is that if you go during the day like I did it because you get cheaper tickets during the day, and I also just thought it'd be less crowded, which it was, and it was cheaper. But all the schools go on field trips to go see the Rockettes, apparently. So I was sitting in a group of, like, middle school students or something like that, and felt like I was, like, the fucking chaperone. They were, like, throwing popcorn at each other, just being kids, right? I understand that. But nobody was supervising them or looking at them or stopping them from talking or anything like that. So, like, that was definitely a distracting way to see the show. But, you know, whatever, you make the most of it. And I enjoyed the show. It was absolutely beautiful. The girls are gorgeous. And it's not just like the Rockettes or whatever. Like, they had like an orchestra, they had all these other singers, they had a choir, they had other dancers. Like, they really incorporated a lot of people, and it was just a beautiful, it felt like a Disney level performance. The way that they project everything on the walls as well is like, it's really like immersive. You feel like you're a part of the story, which was really nice. I think as you get older, you kind of miss that like childlike wonder for Christmas, or like that joy that comes with it. So I've had like little pings of it while I've been here. And then what I do after that, I went to the Lot Palace, which is where Serena van der Woodsen from Gossip Girl lived. Supposedly, like the inside we never saw in the show, I don't believe, but the outside of it, they have a big beautiful Christmas tree, and somebody was nice enough to take a photo of me. They saw me trying to use a timer and try to take photos of myself, and they came over and helped me, which was a super duper kind, and I was able to return the favor and give them a photo of their family. So if there's tons of kind people out here, I wouldn't hand your phone to just anyone in New York City. Like, you definitely have to be careful, but like tourist attractions and stuff like that, like look for a nice person with a family. That's been my go-to right now. Even at the top of the rock, there was a couple that like just got engaged or something, and they were super sweet. And like, that's the other thing too, is in those kinds of spots, like, you know that the people around you are also tourists, so they're also trying to do the same thing as you. It's not like you're just standing somewhere in Times Square and you're like, hey, take my photo, and somebody runs away with that kind of thing. So something to be mindful of. And then I came home, I believe, after that. Oh no, I got a matcha. I tried Matcha Full, which wasn't as good as the other spot that I had already. So something interesting. They mixed different teas in it. It was just a little bitter, I found, and it was really grainy at the bottom, and it didn't have that nice, like, there's like a really, like, you can tell when it's made right by the color of it. And I was like, okay, this one seems a little darker than I was anticipating. Not that I'm like a matcha connoisseur or anything. I just like a good cup of coffee and a good tea. But yeah, had that. Then we came back here, rested here for a little bit, had a little supper, and then went and did a sightseeing cruise. It was a 2-hour cruise in December, so I don't know if I'd recommend. I would recommend the cruise. I just wouldn't recommend necessarily going during like the coldest friggin' month of the year. It was freezing. So the nice thing to know is that when you first walk into it, like the main level of the boat is heated and it's indoors and you're like covered that way. But the issue is they don't seem to like regularly wash the windows of the boat. But I also saying that I don't know how you would keep the windows of a boat clean or how often to do that or anything. I'm not slagging them by any means. I don't know what the circumstances are. But they were all like just foggy and they were dirty on the other side, and like it was just, you couldn't really see out of them. You could see out of some of the windows, but some of the seats you couldn't see out of, and there wasn't enough seats, and so that's a whole thing. But upstairs was probably where I spent most time, and it's outside, right? So there's a lot of Christmas lights. They had it decorated. That was really beautiful. They have a tour guide that, you know, tells you what you're looking at, and obviously, so that was nice. But just freezing, guys. Like, I had so many layers on. I was using my scarf as like an extra hood and stuff. Like, still not enough. Like, I don't know if it's worth going in December, to be honest with you. Even with it decorated nice for Christmas and everything, I don't know if I'd recommend that. I think I would save that for the summer. Even if I come back here someday, I might do it again in the summer months just so I can enjoy it more. Because, like, you're just trying to not to freeze to death, essentially. And you want to stay upstairs where you have the best view kind of thing. So that was that. The poor woman that was doing the tour, the speaker kept cutting in and out, so that made it dreadful at certain points to listen to her. And then towards the end, she let us know that she was trying to be on Broadway, but this ended up being her job instead. So she could always perform, which is hilarious. But then she started singing Christmas songs for like 30 minutes, and the speakers are just, again, just overstimulated. Like, the speakers were just so loud, the microphone was cutting in and out. Like, it was just overstimulating, if anything. So she seemed lovely, but it got to be a little too much. So again, I don't know if Christmas is the best time to do that kind of cruise. I think for someone like me, I think I would enjoy it much more in the summer. But I got to see so much. You basically go around the whole island of Manhattan. So we started on the Lower West Side. I think we made it to the Upper East Side, and then you turn around and come back. You go to the Statue of Liberty and do like a circle or two of that, and then you come back to the Lower West Side. And then the buses here. So if you're taking public transportation, the subway is fantastic. The issue is the buses. I find the buses, like, you look at Google Maps and they're like, oh, they're going to be here now. And then the bus just won't come. And then Google Maps is like, oh, it departed. You fucking missed it. You're like standing at the bus stop with the number. Like, you're obviously at the right place kind of thing. So that was something last night. A bunch of us afterwards, we walked from the terminal for the cruise ship over to the bus stop. And as we were walking, there was a bus in front of us that's flashing emergency, call the police. And people are trying to get on that bus. I'm like, there's no way in hell I'm getting on that. And so I walked to where the actual stop is, and then the bus never comes, and then everyone's like talking to each other and debating if we're all gonna walk to Times Square by ourselves, which was a 20-minute walk. Hi! That's Shelly. I'm looking after 2 cats, and they're a little, like, skittish, I guess, but they're friendly. Like, I can pet them, and they've been nice and everything, but they won't cuddle me or anything. Like, some other animals I've looked after are so, like, attached to me already, so I'm just like, oh, guys, let's be friends, but they haven't fully come around yet, but that's okay. That's how cats are. You just gotta let them do their thing, and when they want to cuddle, they want to cuddle. But I miss cuddling the cats now. Like, my little Zozo cuddles me every night, so I'm just like, oh, do you guys want to cuddle now? Or are we at that place? Can I do something? Can I give you extra treats? Like, please? So the bus never showed, and the walk to Times Square, which is where the next subway station was like 20 minutes away, and we've all been walking all day. We were all freezing from being on the friggin' boat, so most of us opted to just stay and try to wait it out, but it was like a 20-minute wait for the next bus to come, and when it all came, we were all so relieved that we could get on it. And that's basically how that day closed up. And now today, I just finished getting ready. I'm basically in the same outfit every day. I don't know why I brought so many clothes with me when I'm like wearing thermal layers and a coat every single day. Like, in hindsight, I'm like, why did I do that? And it's not really the time of year for cute little outfits. But yeah, today I'm headed to the financial district. I have like a whole list. We're doing the One World Observatory, which is another viewpoint, but it's on like the far west side of the city. So, and like down, like it's like down south and to the west. So it'll be really interesting to see it from there, because that's not where the other ones are. There's something called the Oculus, which is like a shopping mall slash a skating rink inside, but like architecturally it looks amazing. So I'm gonna make sure I go see that. There's obviously the 9/11 memorial. I don't think I'm gonna go into the museum itself, but there are two like water fountains where the bases of the buildings were, and I think that's important to go see when you're in New York. It's just such a part of the history here. The World Trade Center, which I think is a part of the observatory, so maybe that's the same thing. We're gonna find out. Wall Street, the Charging Bull, and Battery Park. And then you can take a ferry over to Dumbo, Brooklyn, which is where like the bridge is, the walking bridge. So we're gonna take that over there. We're gonna get lunch at the market that's there. I'm gonna go do that famous viewpoint where Dan Humphrey from Gossip Girl's house, or I guess apartment or loft or whatever, was located. And then we're gonna walk back across the bridge, so going into Manhattan, so you get that whole like skyline of the city. I think that's gonna be absolutely incredible. And then if I have time, we're gonna try to pick up a cheesecake from Eileen's Cheesecakes today, but we'll see how that goes, because I need to come back here, have a little break. I need to have breaks during the day, or I just get overwhelmed. So I'll come back, have a little break, have my dinner, and then we are off to Broadway tonight. We're going to see Drag, the musical. It's Alaska Thunderfuck's production, and I'm so excited to go see that, see some Rue girls in action. I think that's going to be so incredible. And there's other people in the show too, I'm just not sure who. But yeah, that is the day that's ahead of me. That was your update for yesterday and today. And yeah, we better get going. The day's ticking. Okay, so change of plans because it's absolutely freezing. So I have walked around. I got to the One World Observatory. The problem with that is the visibility is at 0% right now, and it's going to be like that until 3 o'clock apparently. So it's just no point of going. So I rebooked that. And then my next plan was to walk over to Dumbo. We'll take the ferry over there and then walk back. But again, the visibility is 0. So, and it's cold and it's windy and it's like raining and stuff. So I don't think that's worthwhile. So I think I'm going to change plans a little bit. But I'm in Wall Street. It was cool to see everything here, but it's time to go. Time to go somewhere warm. Okay, I have rallied. I'm rested. I'm hydrated. I ate food. I feel less bitchy. We are good for the second portion of the day. So I am currently headed off to Drag the Musical, and I'm going to read you guys the synopsis here because I don't know if I'll ever be able to put it into words like these. So it says, two drag houses, both alike in ingenuity, vie for supremacy and a wig-snatching, diva-licious musical journey of fashion, family, and forgiveness. Leave the lip syncs at the door, darling, and get ready for real singing and a real theater with real drama. After the bitter split, fishy queen Alexis Gilmore opened her club, The Fish Tank, while glamour puss Miss Kitty established The Cat House. Heels click and tensions rise as old wounds are opened up and the two clubs fight to survive. Like, I love it. Like, if you're a fan of Drag Race, I think this is going to be so up your alley. If you are not familiar with drag queens, I think this would be so beyond over your head. So, this is truly something I'm doing for myself, but I'll let you guys know how it goes. But yeah, I'm going to head down there shortly. I'm going to stop at a dispensary first and restock while I'm here. And yeah, now we're going to go see Miss Kitty, the glamour puss, and Alexis Gilmore. Oh my god. And then the cast, I'm pretty positive. So Alaska Thunderfuck is the main drag queen, and I'm pretty positive it's her show. I think she wrote it and produced it. But if you are coming to New York after me, starting on January 13th, Jimbo takes over as the main performer, which would obviously be amazing. And Jimbo's Canadian drag queen, if you don't know. So really excited for this show tonight. I think it's going to be friggin' awesome. And there's other queens in it too. Jan Sport, I recognize her. Jujubee is going to be there. Lux Noir London. And there's obviously, like, there's other people too that I'm just not familiar with, but yeah, I think it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be very gay and campy and over the top, and I think that's what I need tonight. So that is what we're headed to next. So come with me to Midtown, which is basically like, we're going to be like 2 blocks away from Times Square is the theater district that we're heading to. So yeah, that's where we're headed to.